Hello, my name is Molly Smith, and I'm the department head here at Ipswich High School. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about the experiences your student will have as a high school history student. First, just to give you an idea of kind of what skills we would be helping your students to build throughout their high school career, it's broken down into three categories. So obviously, we would be looking at history and geography, so understanding the facts, the causes of events, connections between different events, making sure they understand how to distinguish fact versus fiction, and then making sure they can read charts, graphs, and maps. But another big focus for us would be reading higher level sources and learning how to analyze them. So that could be comparing points of view, looking at primary sources versus secondary sources, and then also beginning to look at higher level nonfiction books. And then the final thing that they'll work on is research and high school level writing. So first we have them, make sure they understand how to assess the credibility of different sources, work on developing a thesis, and then providing support for an argument in an essay, how to properly document things. And then also they work on document-based questions or DBQs. And for that, we're currently using an online program, DBQ Online. That's something the students are probably familiar with from middle school. So as far as ninth grade, all students will be taking ninth grade world history. The course looks at world history all the way back from empires and then ends at the end of World War I. So the type of topics they would be studying would be the Renaissance and the Reformation, nationalism, the Industrial Revolution, and again, ending with the war. There are three different levels in ninth grade, and that placement decision is made by eighth grade teachers. So there is CP1, CP2, College Prep 2, or honors. In 10th grade, students will be looking at American history, starting with the Constitution, which will be a little review of their 8th grade experience, and then moving on to modernization, the Civil War, expansion, industrialization, and again, ending around World War I or the 1920s. So their freshman and sophomore classes will end in the same kind of general time frame. So for 10th grade, we have College Prep 2 or honors. We no longer have the CP1 for the students. They've kind of graduated up to CP2. And in terms of placement, students with an A- or above in modern world who want to move up to an honors can move up. And students with a B or above that are already in honors can stay in their honors class. We are now actually offering students that do very well in their honors ninth grade history class can apply to take a 10th grade AP US history class, which is, we just started doing that for the first time this year, and that was successful. So that's an option for students as well. For 11th grade, we're starting a new class next year that we're excited about, and that's called America in the Modern World. So it blends together modern American and world history, picks up where both of their 9th and 10th grade courses left off around the end of World War I. And then it follows through the Great Depression, the rise of totalitarianism, World War II, the Cold War, and it gets all the way up to modern day. So again, we'll have a College Prep 2 or an honors level class. They will also be looking at some nonfiction books that you can see up there on the screen as well in that course. So for 12th grade, it's a little bit different. The class is American Government, and that's a half-year class as opposed to the other years, which are full-year classes. So the goal for this class is to make students just generally aware of how government functions at both the state, local, and national levels, and how to be an active citizen. So they will pair this class with an additional elective of their choice. So those elective options, which rotate, some classes run every year, some classes rotate every other year, depending on teacher availability. But you can see some of the options that students will have, ranging from student leadership to psychology classes, modern Europe, Middle East, several different criminal justice classes, international relations, facing history or law, and the individual rights. So those classes can be taken by students who don't need an extra history credit just because they're interested in them, or they have kind of a space in their schedule. So these are all pretty popular classes. So now to just give you an idea, there are some options that vary a little bit from what I just explained to you. I kind of gave you, this is the general 4-year course that students take, but there are a couple of options. So every student basically is going to be taking those 9th and 10th grade classes that we talked about. But when you get to 11th and 12th grade, there are a couple of kind of different ways to branch off. So some students who love history, or it's a real strength of theirs, they will choose to take 2 different AP history classes in their 11th and 12th grade. So that's kind of the AP track. So they take honors, freshman and sophomore history. They do well. They can choose AP US, AP World, AP American Government, or AP Psych in their 11th and 12th grade. Some students will just kind of stick with the track that I just explained to you. So, 9th and 10th grade as usual. They'll take America and the Modern World in 11th grade and American Government and an elective in 12th grade. And then the one other option that actually a fairly large number of students choose is kind of a hybrid track. So they'll take maybe their 9th, 10th, and 11th grade classes, and then they'll choose to take one AP class in their senior year. So that's one of the other options. In history, they are given a couple of more options than usual. So to finish up, I just wanted to give you kind of a quick overview of who our department is. And, we've got some new faces here if you have students that have come through in the past. So first we have Miss Fritz, who's been a teacher for about 7 years, but she's been at Ipswich for 3. She does move around a little bit, but she mainly teaches 10th grade American history and then AP U.S. government and politics. We've also got Miss Ayo, who was out this year on maternity leave. She's from Massachusetts and has been at Ipswich for the past 5 years. She tends to teach freshmen modern world history, the psychology electives, and AP psychology. And we've got Mr. Krieger, this is his 18th year teaching here. He teaches most of those electives that you saw listed there: American government, law, criminology, forensics, criminal justice, and then world history 9th grade as well. Mr. Ames, who has been here for 22 years, who's also heavily involved in the theater department. If your children are involved in the theater at the middle school, they would probably already know him. He's currently teaching AP World, Modern World History, and Current Events, but he has also taught a number of different classes over those 22 years as well. Natalie Turner, who is in her 3rd year here at Ipswich High School, mainly teaches 9th grade world history, 10th grade American, and then currently global studies, which is a class that is going away, very similar to that America and the Modern World class, though. And then myself, Molly Smith, again, I'm the department head. I live in Ipswich. My children go to school here. I've been teaching here for 20 years. I mainly teach American history, possibly junior, a modern American and the world class, and AP US history as well. So hopefully that gives you kind of a quick overview. I know it's a lot of information, so we're going to post these PowerPoints as well in case you need to refer back to them. Feel free to reach out to me via email as well if you have any questions about social studies classes at the high school as well. Thank you.